Well, in a daytime TV exclusive, Gisele's daughter, Caroline, has decided to share her side of the harrowing story and the impact of her father's crimes. Just a warning that we're going to be discussing themes of sexual violence which some viewers may find upsetting. Caroline, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me this morning.
It is impossible for us to fathom what it is that you have been through and your family have been through because of your father's actions. But with the book, you're sort of addressing that, trying to help us understand. Why was it important that you wrote the book?
Because, you know, I just wanted to share our own story, which is not an isolated case. I mean, chemical submission, you know, I discovered back in 2020 that it's more widely used, probably in France, but also in Europe, we have several, probably southern cases. And so it's important to drive awareness about, because chemical submission, it's a real health public issue, I'm convinced, and now we know.
So let's go back to 2020 when suddenly you found out what it was that your father had done. I imagine that day plays over in your memory, trying to make sense of hearing the accusation at the time and the reality that we now know. What was that moment like for you, Caroline?
I was devastated. You know, back 2020, it was a Monday, November the 2nd, when my mum called me. She had to tell me that my father drugged her over the past 10 years for raping her by, strangers. And I realized that I didn't know my beloved father.
And this kind of came about almost, it was a complete surprise because your father had been arrested in a supermarket.
He was arrested for obscuring,
taking photographs
against three women. He photographed 3 women, and they took charges to him. So they probably, without knowing, saved my mum.
Yes, definitely.
Because thanks to this first complaint, the police officer had to investigate, his own mobile and different kind of computers and so on. And so they discovered more than 20,000 videos and photographs of sexual abuse. I mean, seeing my mum with different kind of men. So it was a shock. And, they were totally astounding by this affair in France. Because it was the very first time that it happened.
Yes. Did you ever suspect anything at any stage? Did your mum's behaviour change? Did you ever think that she was being drugged?
We, as the children, my 2 brothers and me, we were really afraid because we knew that there is something wrong with my mum.
Yes.
Sometimes we had her on the phone and she was like a big... she didn't get... she had like incoherent behavior over the phone. She talked in a different way. She was like... She didn't seem in her right mind. But we were far from this reality. Yeah.
I think your fear was dementia, wasn't it? Or something...
We were afraid that she had a brain... We thought about a brain cancer. Brain cancer. We thought about, Alzheimer. We thought that maybe she was starting, like, having a demential disease. But how could we think about that?
There's a description in the book where you're at dinner and you said it was almost as though the battery was taken out of her, the plug was pulled out almost.
She was here without being here.
Yes.
Like she was not, she was falling.
Yeah.
She was totally, she was here and my brothers, saw her falling at the table. It was really weird,
Caroline, was there ever anything for you, your brothers, your family, that would mean you were suspicious of your father's behaviour at any point until that moment where these 3 women had accused him of upskirting and had been arrested? Had any of you had any sense that your father had this peculiarity that meant he would behave like this?
Believe me, I was so close from my father. I was the only girl, daughter of this family. You know, I trust him 100%. I never saw him, you were staring at a woman. Never, ever. He had some, you know, respectful comment about women. So when we discovered that as a children, all our worlds collapsed. All our foundation fell down.
And then when you had to what you write about in the book is the first time you took a look at a photograph and you could only bear to look at one. You couldn't look at any more after that. How did you feel when you saw that? Did your brain try and make sense of the situation? Do you remember?
You know, it was like kind of a dissociated?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah. I was in a state of a shock.
Yeah.
And you have to realize the reality of what you're saying, but it's too much. It's too violent. You know, it's crazy. So, but the worst thing, to be honest with you, is to discover that you are betrayed by one of the most important men in your own life. For my mom, it was her husband. Now they got divorced. But me, it was my father. I got his DNA.
Yeah, you put it so well in the book when you say, I was the daughter of the victim and the tormentor. To me, I find that very difficult to even think about.
You have to split in two.
Yeah. I don't know how you
I don't know how to cope with that still. It's still, you know, it's not because the trial is over that all of this process is over for us as a children. It's really difficult to build that on our shoulder because it's our own legacy.
One of the things that was remarkable was your mother waiving her right to anonymity and being so brave and showing so much courage to stand there every day in that trial, to see those images, to see those videos, to see the men that perpetrated those crimes against her. How did you feel watching your mum stand there and sort of so bravely take on board what had happened to her?
To me, and I think, I mean, for us as children, she's a hero. Because, you know, she is 72 years old. She came every single day during 4 months, facing her abuser, her sexual abuser, facing Dominque. She has a tremendous courage. We are really proud of her.
I bet. But I understand that she also struggled to make sense of the man that she loved, her husband, the father of her most important possessions, her children. She struggled to make sense of what he'd put her through and what he put you all through as well.
It's difficult for her, I think, to see him as he is. He is a pervert. He is a deviant. So when you live with someone as she did, I mean, for almost 50 years of togetherness, you know. For her, it's still difficult to imagine that it is possible. So we are in a different position with my mom.
So your relationship with your mum has distanced slightly?
Yes, we have to rebuild each other, you know, in a different way.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we can't help each other.
Yeah. I think also it must have really changed your perceptions of your childhood as well. Because now having this knowledge that you have, which is horrifying, it must then reframe every single memory you have, as right from being a little girl to your age now.
Yeah, because, you know, when I look back, I don't see all the things. To me, it wasn't true. It wasn't true because, you know, we know now that Dominque didn't start back in 2011. Now we know is, you know, our own journey started, you know, back in the 19s. And I was 20, you know? So when I look back at all of these memories, to me, it's not true.
Yeah.
He's a liar. He's a manipulator. And as a children, as a daughter, I can't see, you know, my life before as I thought it was.
Of course, of course.
And it's not just you as a daughter either. You've got a son too. How do you approach that, you know, talking to him about it? How do you approach it with a level of honesty, but not frightening him too much?
With simple words.
Yeah.
He was his grandfather. He really loved him, but we have the responsibility to tell him the truth.
Yes.
So we try to find the best words for a 6-year-old child at this stage, at the moment of our life.
Don't know how you...
And then, you know, with the trial, now he's 10 and he understood. He knows that he's never see him again. And to be honest with you, he told us quite recently that it doesn't exist anymore for him.
Really? So he's adjusted already? Yeah. The most recent update is that you now personally are pressing charges against your father for chemical submission and also for raping you too. So you have discovered evidence that you believe points to the fact that he did this to you as well.
I know. I knew right from the beginning.
Really?
But you know, in France, this is the public prosecutor's officers who lead the complaints. And right from the start, they decided to focus on my mother because all the evidence were on the table. But I know that he drugged me and he probably did a lot more. So I decided during this trial, because I understood I was an invisible victim and I'm the daughter. So I need to get the truth. I don't know what it's, you know, what it's going to be the next steps.
Sure.
But at least I'm aligned with myself because I know that it's happened something wrong before and after those 2 pictures. Well, I'm not sleeping, I'm sedated.
In the same position?
In the same position
as your mother?
As my mom. You know, there are
It's
so many...
something he's always denied, and the spokesperson, we just need to do this for the National Police in France, said as an investigation is currently underway, they were unable to respond to the scenario right now for you.
He lied. He lied each time. He did several versions. We can't, you know, during this trial, it's a shame because, you know, we didn't get any clear answer from him.
The frustration of that will be intolerable. But I wonder, though, Caroline, how you see the future, how you and your brothers and your son and your family and your mother will get beyond this. Do you have hope that you will be able to get beyond it?
I don't want to talk for my mum or even for my 2 brothers, but for me, I think that hopefully and frankly, I hope this new complaint is going to be taken seriously. And otherwise, you know, my life goes on. I'm a mum, I'm working, I'm committed to that cause, chemical submission. I'm not pretending that I'm going to save everyone, but I'm just trying to drive awareness and to make people understand that it does exist.
Yes.
And that you, as a victim, if you have a doubt, investigate the doubt.
Thank you for coming on to the show. And thank you for being so brave. And I think your mum is just, as you said, to use your words, a hero.
She's a hero.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Thank
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.